wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Hello and welcome to the WolfMan's Call. Yes, it is a good Wednesday to you. Happy Valley right there. You saw it. It's going to be tough. Every day is getting closer. The excitement's going to be picking up. Football camp has started. WVU's second day. We'll get into that tomorrow. We'll hear from head coach Neil Brown from the Mountaineers and check around the league as always. Always going to be checking out like we're doing today. We have the Twisted Rooster from the SEC. We have Pitt is Talk, or Talk is Pitt for the ACC coming out today. So I told you he's going to bring a breakdown on the ACC. SEC, ACC today, and tomorrow we're going to check into the Pacific 12 and also get into the Big Ten and just get some updates. But first, as you notice the intro, a little different today. That's right, DT, Darryl Talley. I call him King Talley because Darryl right now, I believe, should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. And my take is, what a lot of people's takes are, is that it's about time, it's overdue. Kind of like just like the Chuck Holly story. Maybe not as much as Chuck Holly because Chuck was been waiting for 30, 40 years, but Darryl Talley's pretty close to that. Got to get Darryl Talley in the Hall of Fame. It's time. We can't do anything. Only the voters can go ahead and get him in, but we can help the voters realize they need to go ahead and get in. And with that being said, with Darryl Talley, I want to go ahead and show you some videos about why he should be in there. It's my take. I've already talked to Darryl Talley many times. People have heard from me how much I believe that DT should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Buffalo Bills, he leads the Bills for all-time tackling. Never missed a game in his 12-year career at the Buffalo Bills. Never missed a game. You're going to talk about some serious tough times. And Bruce Smith, all-time sack leader, credits Darryl Talley for giving him success. Because you know why? Because when Darryl Talley would line up next to him, you had to go against two guys. You couldn't just sit there and double-team Bruce. You had to worry about DT on the outside, hoping Bruce Smith make all those great sacks. You can hear from Dan Marino. You can hear from Jim Kelly. Darryl Talley, like Chuck Holly, needs to be considered for the NFL Hall of Fame. First, let's go right here to what we have here with our WolfMan's Call Network. And we're going to start off with Archies up there in East Carson Street in Pittsburgh. Enemy territory. We'll have to talk is Pitt about that. Archies showing up there, the WolfMan's Call Network. And of course, you got Rob Davis at Brickside Bar and Grille in Bridgeport. And you have Jimmy there in Jimbo's place over in Elkins, West Virginia. And now next week, big news. We're going to be broadcasting there for their grand opening in Buckhannon, West Virginia. It's going to be huge. The second Jimbo's, it's big. I tell you what, they're just doing great now, kids. So good, they had to open up one in Buckhannon. Buckhannon, we'll see you on Monday on the WolfMan's Call, 4 o'clock for the grand opening. We'll be announcing a new special sponsor as well. And you head up there to Morgantown, you got Kegler Sports Bar and Grill, Jerry Lorenz, Dougie Moore, Greg Lorenz, all the Lorenz family. Royalty, WVU royalty, there's no doubt about it. You head out there, legends out of Lakeview, Cheat Lake, and the links out there, Aaron Gizzy, my man, does so much for Special Olympics, West Virginia as well, Legends Bar and Grill. Shout out there. Go ahead, Fairmont. You got the Mason Jar, barbecue, and more. The barbecue, unbutton those britches. Love that saying, Steve Reese. And you got Mel and Melissa at the Mountaineer Chap House right there at Oakland Street by the dorms in Morgantown. And always good food. Excellent food, great TVs, and lots of tap beer on there and the IPAs. And the Mason Jar Saloon, Steve Reese, once again in Morgantown. He's got Fairmont. He's got Morgantown. Incredible barbecue all the time. And then we head down to Teays Valley, Scott Depot area. It's the Pallet. Tip your servers, all the young ladies down there, because they love the WolfMan's coal. That's right, Haley, I hear you. And Cantrell's River City Grill and Pub down in Hinton, West Virginia. We're getting farther south. We keep adding and adding and adding. And last, but certainly not least, it's up there in Weirton, West Virginia. It's Route 22 Sports Bar. They got 12, 50-inch TVs all put together. And it's just absolutely amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I love the WolfMan's Call Network. We're keeping it low for a reason. It's increasing. We're going to add some more next week. But again, we want to make sure we do this right. Go to your fine establishment and say, we want the WolfMan's Call, Monday through Thursdays, 4 o'clock. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this with the Darryl Talley video, and I think everybody needs to see this. With Steven Jackson did this, and I absolutely love it. And then at the end, you're going to go ahead and you'll see after this video, it's about 4 minutes, you see Darryl Talley himself tell me in a previous interview that he believes that he should be in the NFL Hall of Fame, and I believe him. For sure. Here we go.
In the 1990s, the Buffalo Bills were one of the most dominant football teams in the NFL. They never won a Super Bowl, but they played for the title 4 straight times from 1990 to 1993. Buffalo high-powered offense was led by Hall of Fame quarterback Jim Kelly. Who led them on defense? Hall of Fame pass rusher Bruce Smith is the answer that's usually given. But in 2010 interview, Jim Kelly spoke about someone else. Someone who not only played a huge role in Smith's success, but according to Kelly, should also be in the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm Steven Jackson, and in this episode of Legends, we look back at one of the most underrated linebackers of all time. I'm talking about no other than Darryl Talley. Darryl Talley was born July 10, 1960. East Cleveland, Ohio. Growing up, Darryl's Native American heritage made him a target for bullies, but he stood up for himself and became known as someone who couldn't be pushed around. As a high school football player, Darryl only played 7 games in his final 2 seasons due to injuries. But he made such an impact on those 4 games he played his senior year that drew the interest of a number of Division I programs. He settled on the University of West Virginia, becoming a Mountaineer. After his redshirt season, Darryl realized his star potential, becoming a 4-year starter and helping to turn West Virginia into winners. By his senior year in 1982, he was an All-American, West Virginia's first since the 1950s. That season against number 2 Pitt, Darryl had his best game as a collegiate athlete. He was all over the field making plays, including the interception of Pitt quarterback and future Hall of Famer Dan Marino, and a block punt, which he recovered and returned for a touchdown. At the end of his college career, Darryl had a school record of 484 tackles, including 28 tackles for loss, 19 sacks, 5 interceptions, and what do you know, 3 touchdowns. By the time the 1983 NFL Draft would roll around, Darryl would be on everyone's radar. He was selected by the Buffalo Bills early in the 2nd round with the 39th pick. The first 2 years in Buffalo were rough, but when the Bills brought in Coach Mark Levy in 1986, everything began to change. One of the moves Levy made, moving Darryl from the left outside linebacker, which was considered the strong side, to the right outside linebacker, which is considered the weak side. Where I come from, we just call those sand and light. Over the next 6 years, the Bills reached the conference title game 5 times, and the Super Bowl 4 times in 4 consecutive years. The Buffalo Bills ran the AFC, and Darryl Talley, he was at the center of that. In 1990, the first year of that 4-year run, Darryl logged a career high, 123 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, including one that he returned for a touchdown. He was named to his first Pro Bowl. After losing Super Bowl 25 to the Giants on a missed field goal, Darryl and the Bills came back even stronger in 1991. Again, they won 13 games, and Darryl had 117 tackles, 4 sacks, a career best 5 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, and recovered 2 of them. He was once again selected to the Pro Bowl, but Buffalo fell short to the Washington Redskins in Super Bowl 26. For 2 more seasons, Buffalo was the best in the AFC, and Darryl was an unstoppable force in the middle of the Bills' defense. But Buffalo couldn't overcome the Dallas Cowboys, losing to the NFC champions in both Super Bowl 27 and 28. The 1994 season was Darryl's last with Buffalo. He played for Atlanta and Minnesota over the next 2 years, hoping to get one more chance at a ring, but both teams lost in the first round of the playoffs. After 14 seasons, well over 1,000 tackles, 38.5 sacks, 12 interceptions, 17 forced fumbles, Darryl Talley decided to call it a career. How great of a career? In 12 seasons with the Buffalo Bills, Darryl Talley never missed a game. In fact, to this day, Darryl remains the team's all-time leading tackler. But Jim Kelly said it best when he was asked in an interview who's the most underrated teammate he's ever played with. Kelly said, Darryl Talley, by far. Darryl Talley should be in the Hall of Fame right now. He helped make Bruce Smith what Bruce Smith was. And even though Bruce Smith was one of the greatest defensive players of all time, Dan Marino added, Darryl Talley was one of the best players he's ever played against.
Jim Kelly, quarterback, a man that's been through it all. He's in the Hall of Fame. Chester says you were the most underrated player of his teammates. The most underrated. You are a very humble guy. I've known you for a long time. You are a great Mountaineer brother. You're a brother, man. And let me ask you this. You Darryl Talley, do you believe you should be in the NFL Hall of Fame?
Yes. I believe that my numbers warrant me being there. I believe that I've played hard enough against some of the best talent ever. I believe that I've answered the bell when I was called upon. I mean, yeah, I think I deserve to be in there.
Yeah. Wow. I'll tell you what, I just had to put that in there. This is the Hall of Fame week in the NFL. We had Bob Lilly on, the Cowboys' first Hall of Fame pick in the organization's history. And he's in there this week. He's going to introduce Chuck Hawley. And Scott Hawley, Chuck's son, will be there also to have a speech. It's a big weekend, West Virginia. We've been talking about this with Darryl Talley for the last couple of years. Darryl Talley needs to be in the Hall of Fame. You heard from great ones. It's time. It's time for DT. It's time for him to be put into the NFL Hall of Fame. Don't want to wait as long as Chuck Hawley. Don't want to do it. Darryl's already waited a long time, and his numbers are deservedly so. And because of the great team that he was. I don't care that they didn't win a Super Bowl. I don't care. 4 times in a row, leading tackler, never missed a game. Never missed a game for the Buffalo Bills. All-time leading tackler for a team that went 4 times to the Super Bowl in a row. All very, very good. All right. So, Chatty, what do we got here? Talk is Pitt said he's all ready. Well, that's not coming in here at 4:30, so that is good. But we're going to go ahead and hit these QR codes right before we bring on the Twisted Rooster. And I want to go ahead and get this in here and show it. And that's the Pallet Mini rechargers and batteries. Go green, save green. I'm telling you, folks, go ahead, QR code this, man, because Pallet Mini, it's about power. It's about recharging. $15 billion a year in alkaline batteries waste up in the dumps every single year. This is about recharging. You never have to buy another AA battery. Paul Mini rechargers and batteries. Arson Grange, right here, AGC. Switch to hemp, just the dip. You can get it at wolfmandip.com, or you can go ahead to the Parmar stores, our sponsor, Parmar stores. If there's not a store near you now, there will be one soon, and right there you can get it. AGC, switch to hemp. Get rid of the tobacco. Get rid of the nicotine, all right? I'm telling you, I like it a lot better. It got me off of all that tobacco, all that crap. You don't need it. Go to AGC, Arson Grange Company, and it's a Mountaineer that owns it. And Johnny Camwell, former Mountaineer offensive lineman, West Virginia United. And go ahead, get the decals, get the stickers, the clothing. We have to become united in West Virginia. We're 1.7 million strong. I say strong. We're 1.7 million strong, baby. That's who we are. We got to keep going that way. We got to keep staying strong. And Johnny's got this. I think it's united in purpose. West Virginia, we stand. Very good. Okay, so you go ahead and you can get that, but you see it down there. But now let's go ahead and let's bring in our guy, Kevin Shuler. His name is Twisted Rooster. He's a South Carolina Gamecocks rep, but he also reps the SEC. And we got some stories this week. He's going to come and talk to us. Again, we got Penn Talk is coming in and afterwards. And we're going to do the Pac-12 tomorrow and the Big Ten. And we're just going to keep going and letting you know what's going on in the other leagues, the Big 12, Marshall and the Sun Belt. But here we go. What's up, Twisted Rooster? Hello, sir.
How we doing today, Wolfman?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You're coming in loud and strong. I like it. And Talk is Pitt says he's already ready. I put you guys in an email. I said, listen, man, you're not on until 4:30, 4:35. Sounds like a regular Pitt guy.
Hey, that's Talk is Pitt. You know, he's rambunctious.
Right on. All right there, Twisted man. What's going on this week in the SEC? I actually got a videotape on with Paul Feinbaum and talking about Nick Saban. But what other stories are there right now that you're thinking about SEC that you're hearing about down there?
Well, you know, it's practice time now. So
Yep.
Everybody's on, it's time to play ball. A lot of the talking season's over with. So everybody's just ready to get started. They want to talk.
Wait a second now. The talking season's over. This is the SEC. This is talk smack. I think that's what it's all about in the SEC, man. How can that talk stop now because the practice is going on? I don't believe it.
Well, the coaches have been too busy to get in front of cameras and say dumb things to give us a reason to talk, right?
Yeah. Well, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying about amongst all the different fan bases, because that's what I really do laugh about the SEC and enjoy is, I guess, the ripping that goes on. And I look at it, I see that Paul Feinbaum is always there, and he's always got his take on everything, and it's usually Alabama good about everything. But I saw this here, and I want to play this for you, man. And you tell me what you think about this. And is Nick Saban being considered irrelevant this year?
Headline I didn't think I'd really be reading during the Nick Saban era. It sounds like somebody doubted that this was going to be all of that. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. Explain what it all means.
Yeah, Paul, well, first, pleasure to be on with you. I think when we talk about Alabama, we're talking about them in a light that we haven't really talked about them in some years. I mean, rewind back to last year, we were all not just penciling in, but sharpieing in. It would be Alabama, Ohio State in the title game in L.A., and Alabama's not even making the playoff. And so a lot of people, and this is something we've seen a couple of times throughout the Nick Saban regime, is he'll have a down year, and then everyone says, you know what, the game's passed him by. Bama's no longer the Bama of old, and then right after that happens, he wins a national title. And so I think for Alabama, the statement they're trying to make is, hey, we're still here. We're still Bama. If you want to forget about us, that's on you, but we're still Bama. We're still here to make a statement. And I think to count them out this coming season would be very, very unwise.
Headline.
All right. What do you say about that right off the bat?
Well, I think when Nick Saban is being quiet, he's a dangerous Nick Saban.
Oh, okay. So you're saying he's going with the quiet approach because he's tired of the talk. He's tired of people sitting next to him on a public broadcast, national broadcast, is saying that Georgia's the premier program in the country.
Do you think Nick Saban sent that guy a letter after he got laid off from the network?
He may have. I'll tell you what, that's for sure. But I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I looked at this right here, and if you can see this, let me go ahead and see if I can't work this up here with some magic. Bring it up here and then up, so this you can see here. And this is the 2023 preseason All SEC defense. Now I'm counting. I see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Georgia players all preseason. And I'm counting 3 LSU. That means there's only 2 Alabama. Now, there's 14 teams in the SEC. I didn't know there's only 3. Does that mean that these are the best players on the defense and there's no other teams that can represent?
I think a lot of times when people put these polls out or they invest in these polls, they don't want to be wrong, right? So they look for what they think is going to be the best players on the best teams because they're returning the most. So I'm not going to be wrong if I sit here and I put in Alabama players, LSU players, and Georgia players are the best defenders in the SEC. But there's guys out there. There's other teams that have very talented football players. To say that Georgia and Alabama and LSU have all the best defensive players in the league, that's I don't know. I see people put out quarterback polls about the SEC right now, too, and I think some of them have lost their mind.
Go ahead. Expound on that one if you can. What are they saying?
Well, Chris Doering put out his top 5 SEC quarterbacks, and he had Jaden Daniels at number 1. And I'll give that to Jaden Daniels just because he's on LSU, and I think he's surrounded by a lot of talent. But then they had like Devin Leary that's coming in from NC State. He had him in his top 5, and I'm like, Devin Leary only played 6 games last year, tore his pec, and has never really played in an SEC schedule. So you're picking this guy to be a top 5 quarterback in the league against these defensive players that you just put up on that screen? I'm like, they got KJ Jefferson in there. KJ's going to be running a whole different type of offense this year. It's more of zone read. The offense that's coming into Arkansas. So we'll see. Then they have Joe Milton in that top 5. And I get it. Joe Milton's got a rocket for an arm, right? That man can sling it from one end of the football field to the other field. But what made Tennessee great last year was Hendon Hooker's touch when he was under pressure. Being able to drop it off, just have that touch to get it to wide receivers in space where they could use their speed and break away. Watching the games that I've watched with Hendon Hooker, he's going to have to prove to me that he has that ability because they don't call him Overthrow Joe for nothing down here in the SEC. And the other one they brought up with number 2 on his list was Will Rogers down at Mississippi State. Well, Will Rogers is not running the air raid anymore. Rest in peace, Mike Leach, one of the greatest coaches and interviewers. I used to love to listen to that guy when he did an interview.
For sure.
But that whole offense is changing now, and it's an App State offense because their offensive coordinator came from App State, which is a setup off of a running game. So there's no air raid. So I don't know if people sit down and they look at the changes that are happening to these teams and how it may affect these quarterbacks before they make a list. But I don't know. I just it's hard for me to see some of these cats being on my top 5 list. I can tell you that.
All right, so tell me this then. We're getting to it. You just saw that list of just LSU, Georgia number 1, LSU number 2, and Bama 3 on there. And let's go ahead and bring in the top 25. This will be CBS Sports top 25 right here, and you're going to see it's overwhelmingly Georgia. And if you look at this, let me go ahead and redo that right there. If you look at this, you see it Georgia that was not number 1 last year heading into the season, but they are this year. They finished number 1, of course, national champs. But this year they're overwhelmingly it. What is Alabama saying right now about this? I know I'm just talking about the top 3 here, but I mean, I know that Nick Saban's being quiet, but Alabama, they got to be pissed a little bit, man, just because the last 2 years have not gone their way.
Yeah. And, I think like CBS and a lot of these sports networks, they also look at the schedule, right? So Georgia, if you look at Georgia's 2023 schedule, outside of here's probably the 3 toughest teams they play. I mean, you could throw Missouri in there. They gave them a tough game last year. but you got South Carolina, Tennessee, and you got Ole Miss. Past that, Kentucky, can they be better this year than they were last year? Can their offensive line get back to what it was when it was the big blue wall? Devin Leary coming in, seeing how he's going to do in his first year. Alabama has a much tougher schedule because, they have to play Tennessee also. But then they play the West. They have LSU. So their schedule's a little tougher, so I can see why they would have Alabama under there. And then the quarterback questions for Alabama is probably one of the biggest things they're getting dinged on because nobody knows who their quarterback's going to be yet.
Okay. All right. So we know who the top 3 teams are projected here. You just saw that. You had Alabama at 5, LSU at 4, Georgia at 1. Then you had Michigan at 2 and Ohio State at 3. And it looks to me like it's just all because USC's at 6. It's all SEC, Big Ten right now, the way that it's going. But with that being said, when you look at these other teams in the league, because there's 14 teams in the SEC, that's why I'm laughing about the all 2023, because there's got to be some good players on the Gamecocks. I know there are. I know there's 4- and 5-star guys on that team. I know there's 4- and 5-star guys at Ole Miss. I know there's 4- and 5-star guys at other schools. Even at Vanderbilt, there's got to be a 3- or 4-star guy there that can play some ball. And I just don't know. I see all that going into it. What sleeper teams are out there, Twisted, that besides the Gamecocks, we'll get to your Gamecocks last, but besides the Gamecocks, what other teams are out there that might be a sleeper in the SEC?
Well, my pick out of the West, the team that I think is going to be there, I want to say Ole Miss, because Ole Miss brought in a new defensive coordinator. What's his name? That left Alabama. I think Ole Miss. The one thing Ole Miss seems to always miss on this defense, right? Now they brought in some defensive talent. They'll change their defensive scheme. Texas A&M, as usual, is going to have to prove. They proved to fail underneath what they're projected to be. Auburn, Hugh Freeze, I think he's going to upset some people this year, but I don't think he has talent and depth on Auburn.
Okay.
And Mississippi State, of course, coaching changes there. So my pick in the West was Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss can be a sneaky number 3 West team, but LSU better be really, really careful, and Alabama better be careful with Ole Miss because Kiffin will sling it on you, and they got the best quarterback room in the SEC. I mean, if you think about depth on their quarterback room with Spencer Sanders coming in, the Howard kid from LSU, plus returning Jackson Dart. So if they have a quarterback go down, they're probably in the best position in the SEC.
Yeah, I know Spencer Sanders very well, talent-wise, not personally, but talent-wise, and that cat can play in any league. I don't care what league it is, and he's going to be tough to nail down because he can throw the ball. He had over 3,500 passing yards at Oklahoma State, and he could run the ball as well, which made Oklahoma State so vitally so tough. When you looked at him last year, with Mountaineers, I've just been breaking down this last game against Oklahoma State, and Rango, the freshman, came in, and they were nothing without Spencer Sanders right there leading the way. And I think that's so true now about most teams, except when you get to the SEC and you get to those defensive linemen and those offensive linemen in the SEC, they just are a little bit bigger. They just are a little bit quicker. They just are a little bit stronger and in the SEC. So I think that makes a big difference too. But in the other leagues especially, I think the quarterback play really dictates how an offense has got to be, unless you have a running game where you could just hand the ball off like the old days. And Michigan played a little bit like that, but they still have a quarterback. So regardless of getting into that, I don't want to get into the Big Ten. We're going to do that tomorrow. But what I'm going to do, let's get to your Gamecocks now. Let's talk about it. And tell me what they got coming in. I know Beamer, this is his second year, right? As a coach. He's very exciting. It's Frank Beamer's son, I believe, correct? From Virginia Tech?
That's correct. And
Shane Beamer?
Yeah, and we're going into year 3 under Shane Beamer. Of course, we're returning Spencer Rattler and Juice Wells, who was our leading receiver last year. He was right at 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Brought in tight end Trey Knox out of Arkansas, big kid. He's like 6'5", 245. Another guy named Josh Simon at tight end came in from Western Kentucky. Kind of the same stats. So I expect our tight end room to be much, much better this year because we have true tight ends. And then the returning, we just got to see some receivers step up, and we need to see what our offensive line is going to be. And our running back room is a big question on offense because we moved to Kerryon Joyner, who was a quarterback and a wide receiver. He played quarterback in the Mayo Bowl a couple of years back against North Carolina. Well, now he's a running back, but he's beefed up. He's 6'3", 240. Went to the running back room, and we got to see how successful he's going to be. And hopefully he can contribute a lot.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, about overall with the team, you think that you could go ahead and South Carolina, you think they could, the Gamecocks, because I love the Gamecocks. Love playing at the stadium, even though I got a pricker up my can over there in the bushes there when I played there. But I'll tell you what, great crowd, great fan base, and the money they just put in there. So where do you foresee them projection right now before the season starts?
Well, when I went through the Gamecock schedule, I picked our tough games are on the road, right? We got to go to Texas A&M. We haven't been successful there. We have to travel to Neyland against Tennessee. We don't play well there. Even when we won games, it's been pretty ugly. And then, of course, we got to go to Athens and play Georgia. So those are really the three games that stood out to me the most to give us the hardest time on winning. And then we got Clemson coming into Williams-Brice. And, we were able to beat Clemson last year. But, that's always a tough game, too. I think it's time to get over that hump and start beating Clemson again. But I do think talent-wise, we are as close to Clemson as we've been in 7-8 years.
Wow. All right. Well, very good. Now, let me just say this, Twisted Rooster. I want Spencer Rattler. I want to hear about him next week. All right, we're going to let you go now, but next week, let's talk more quarterbacks. Let's talk more in detail because, our familiarity with him out in Oklahoma. He had that tough season, but, Oklahoma, not sure about that as well either, with what they brought in. I want to hear about it. I hope he's doing good. I hope he had a good year and he's looking sharp because I actually like the young man.
I appreciate that, Wolfman. Yeah, thank you for having me on the show, buddy. Us Gamecock fans are walking on a little water today. We just signed 5-star defensive end Dylan Stewart, and we beat the Buckeyes for him.
Is it another Clowney?
His numbers are just Jadavian was a perfect scorer. So there's not many of those ever when it comes to recruiting, but he's like he's right around third or fourth highest recruited player ever at South Carolina, as far as his numbers. He's the number 10 player in the country. He was number 1, and they bumped him down about a month or so ago when they redid everything and reevaluated.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. That's all I say. Go with the original. You got it. All right. Hey, Twisted Rooster, man, appreciate your time. South Carolina, you can catch you, man, out there on YouTube. And you got Twisted Tailgate, right?
Yeah, that's the name of the channel, the Twisted Tailgate.
All right. Good deal, brother. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you shortly next week.
All right, Wolfman.
See you, brother. All right, I got a question here before I bring on our next guest, which is Talk Is Pet, and it is here showing this question. It says, Wolf, are you related to the previous Steeler player Wolfley during the Steel Curtain days? Well, yes and no. So my brother Craig came in 1980s. Later when the Steel Curtain was kind of going down, not as much as Steel Curtain. Joe Green was there. I can still remember Saturday practices with Joe Green and his kid, because it was Saturday, it was family day. So we'd all go down to Three Rivers Stadium, and while they practiced and did their walkthroughs for the Sunday game, we ran around the stadium. And I remember Joe Green's 2 kids. And of course, my father-in-law, Ray Mansfield, played 14 years with the Steelers. He was there as a center during the Steelers, Steel Curtain. And don't forget that he just got honored into the Steelers Hall of Fame this past week. That's a big deal for the Mansfield family. And of course, we all are loving it. He's got 5 grandkids with me and more with the others. So again, there's a lot of pride and love and joy in the Mansfield, Wolfley, and others family. But again, let's go. I told you we got a special guest today. This is going to be fun because I've never brought anybody that used the name Pitt, Pitt, on the show. But we got a good one here, and Talk is Pitt, and he's very knowledgeable. He's going to break down the ACC for us because we're not afraid of Pitt, man. What's up, Talk is Pitt?
How you doing, Craig? Thanks for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. Now you're thinking about brother Craig now with the Steelers.
I know that. See, the thing is, the Wolfley name is very legend in this city, so it's going to take me a while to remember who is who because I have met the Wolfley family. I have. I mean, it's kind of hard not to.
Well, very good. Yeah, we're all over the place, but we are so happy to have you, and welcome to the WolfMan's Call. And what I love doing this, talking to Twisted Rooster right there for the SEC. Now we move into your domain here. Not saying that you don't know about the rest of the country, but you are ACC, and that's your knowledge base and where you're an expert at. So lay it on me now. Let's talk about the ACC. What's going on? Who's the leaders heading into the season?
Well, I think there's mixed reaction in the ACC when it comes to who's going to do what, who's going to beat who, and I think it's really tied between three different teams to win the conference, which is obviously Clemson. That's going to be everyone's first choice, but then Florida State, after having a good season last year, a lot of people picked them. And then, of course, there's always one overhyped team every single year that, doesn't do what their expectations are, and that's Miami.
Yeah, okay, that's a Miami shot right off the bow. Okay, love it. Well, let's get to it. You got Clemson there. You got to see Florida State, Wake Forest, Boston College, Syracuse, Louisville, NC State. Flip it over to your Hurricanes there. So you're talking about Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Duke, Pitt, North Carolina, and Virginia. Okay, so a lot of schools, excellent schools. I mean, I could go back and think about, I played against Boston College. I played against Syracuse. I played against Pitt. I played against Virginia Tech. I mean, we played, I can't remember if I played against Virginia. That would have been my brother Ronnie. Sometimes those get confused. Played Miami. But we just played so much of the ACC teams. And got a lot of respect, a lot of history with that. And a lot of folks are still crying that West Virginia is not in the league. For me, I think West Virginia needs to stay stable right now because they're stable in the conference with all this conference realignment, which we'll get into a little bit if you don't mind later. But again, is when you look think about that Pittsburgh game last year, and it was the highest rated Thursday show for college football in the last 5 years. And it was a blown up. It was a full stadium. I mean, the Pitt West Virginia rivalry. It was, I think, the 107th of it last year. I'm not sure. I can't remember the exact number, but it was crazy, great experience. Even though we lost the game for WVU, it was a good showing all around for college football and college football rivalries.
It definitely made me feel like our season mattered because even West Virginia fans will agree with me, not having a natural rival to play every single year, it really did a lot of damage to, in my opinion, both the programs, because not having a rivalry to play every single year, that's what people look forward to. It doesn't matter if it's the first game of the year, in the middle of this season, or what I would prefer, the last game of the year. That's what you look forward to. Of course, you want your team to do well playing against everybody else, but rivalry makes college football what it is.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Let me ask you this, with Pat Narduzzi. What's your interpretation of him, and how is he? How well is he liked in Pittsburgh?
Well, I did a video a long time ago on what fan base annoys me the most, and believe it or not, it's my own. And because, like, look, I love Pitt and everything, but I'm not going to sit there and hype them up like they're Georgia or Alabama or any of those other teams. I know what our talent level is. I know what this team is capable of. I've played football throughout my whole entire life. I didn't play college football because I decided to go into heating and ventilation school after high school. But I know common sense when it comes to what this team's capabilities are. And Pitt fans seem to think that since he's been here for so long, he should already have a national title, and that's just not how we're built, first of all, and that's just not how a rebuild works. He inherited a dumpster fire. Right. Just in the same situation, Neil Brown inherited a dumpster fire at West Virginia. But he's done good this year. I'll give you guys credit on that. He's done good in recruiting and making sure the team is believing in what needs to happen this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so Narduzzi, now he actually did win 2 years ago. He won the ACC division, and they won the whole ACC, right?
Yeah, he won the whole entire conference.
So go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
He my personal perception of him is I love the guy. I absolutely love him. I forgot to add that in at the last second. I love how outspoken he is. I love that he's pushing James Franklin's buttons. Absolutely hate Penn State more than West Virginia, believe it or not. So I love the guy, and he's the right coach for Pitt. It may not be the coach that everybody wanted, but he's the right coach.
He's the right coach because I think he's a prick. So I think
that's exactly why I love him.
He's exactly what I call Pitt. Very good. Well, listen, man, that's actually cool because I do respect Narduzzi. I know what he did in Michigan State. I see when you got a coach that wants to have a team that's physical, that's tough, that wants a running game, that wants to stop the run with their defense, their interior, that loves to sack quarterbacks. I mean, that's who he is. And
exactly.
I don't see him getting too fired up about offenses, but I sure see him get fired up about defenses. And I know that he enjoys it, so I do respect him, but I don't like him a lot. I'm just going to say.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to, Wolfman, because if you did like him, we'd be like, "Are you sure you're a West Virginia fan?"
Yeah, I'm gonna say WVU for this, but as you can see, I got the Steelers on, baby. I'll rep for the Steelers.
Well, believe it or not, I'm actually not a Steeler fan.
See, I tell you, you're all screwed up, man, because you're not hyping your fan base, you're not into your fan base, and you're not a Steelers fan, so you're kind of confusing.
I'm actually a Green Bay Packers fan.
I can't believe that's old school.
Oh, well, there is a Green Bay Packers sports themed bar here in Pittsburgh in Greenfield, the Greenfield section of the city. So there's a lot of Packers fans here, believe it or not.
Well, I'll tell you what I got to get you to do. Since you live in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you live in Pittsburgh. You got to go to Archies Bar on East Carson Street because he has the WolfMan's Call Network up there, and it's a Mountaineer fan, but it's also Pitt. It's both and both. So you should go there. It's right on East Carson Street. Good place, great wings, man, all the time. Archie's Bar right there. I'm going to tell him Talk is Pitt is coming, man. All right, and before I'm going to let you
go.
Yeah, all right. I appreciate that. I can tell you're adventuresome. So let's talk about the big rumor. Florida State and Clemson and Oregon, Washington, or Oregon or whatever out there to the Big Ten. What would that do to the ACC?
Well, I don't think it would necessarily at that moment spell the end for the ACC because in my personal opinion, and a lot of people seem to disagree with me on this, there are still teams out there that the ACC could nab to bring in and help hopefully, not saying it would, but help hopefully force the grant of rights to be renegotiated. And the only way that's truly going to happen is if Notre Dame comes in. And that would be a way for Notre Dame to come in because I truly believe that's what Notre Dame is waiting for is to see who leaves the ACC so they can take over and not have to play. And this is just my opinion, not have to play the tough competition that is still left in the ACC. They want it easy because they already piggyback off the ACC anyway.
They do, and that's why I wondered what's in it for them to go ahead and jump in that, because they already are there in the ACC.
Yeah.
For most, I mean, intents and purposes. You know what I mean? Unless they were to go Big Ten or something, I don't know. But for me, they're just it's a company. I'm saying about the university, they're selfish. They always have been. They're Notre Dame, and I lost a national championship to them, so I don't like them either. Okay. So,
well, we don't like them either. Trust me. There's a couple enemies we both have in common: Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. We hate Virginia Tech probably just as much as you guys do.
Seriously, I didn't know that. Now Penn State, yes, I get that. And all right, so here we go. Last question for you, brother, for this week. If you have Penn State, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, or West Virginia for a rivalry, who are you taking?
Flat out, honestly, this is no disrespect to West Virginia, but I'm taking Penn State.
You're taking Penn State because you don't like Penn State.
I don't like Penn State more than – I don't get along with any Penn State fans. I'm friends with a lot of West Virginia fans. I unfortunately have a lot of family members who are West Virginia fans. I mean, they're lost souls. We'll take care of them later in life. But they're great. And honestly, having West Virginia fans as family, do you have any idea how fun reunions are every year?
Yeah, I can imagine, that's for sure. And I will say this, but for a guy who doesn't really like his own fan base, I'm not surprised that you like West Virginia.
I don't like my own fan base, but I will say this, and this will be the one and only time I do this, and this is in honor of the Gold and Blue dude, because he's the reason why I even have a channel in the first place. I would have never uploaded one single video if he didn't convince me. So in honor of him, I will be at the Backyard Brawl, and I will be wearing a West Virginia t-shirt in honor of him that says rest in peace, Gold and Blue dude.
All right. Very good. I appreciate that. And Gold and Blue dude, he was special. He was special, man. And with Joey and all them. I got to tell you this, man. Talk is Pitt. Thank you so much for coming on. You are welcome on the WolfMan's College Show. And we'll get next week if you're still willing to do it. And we'll go ahead and talk a little more ACC and talk about some teams that may jump out, maybe sleepers. We may know more information about any conference realignment by then.
Yeah. I'm available Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Those are my days off of work because I work 4 12-hour days in a row. So, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays are my best days, or before 3 o'clock on days I have to work. All
right, brother. You take care, man. Talk is Pitt, a pet dude on the WolfMan's Call. There's a first for everything. All right. Take care, man. God bless.
You too. See you later.
All righty. Woo. Well, that's first for everything is for sure. I got to tell you, I like him, though. I like him. Talk is Pitt. He doesn't like his own fan base, so how can you not like him? He likes some Mountaineers there, and that's not so bad or shabby as well. There we go. We got some going on here. Mike Rounds, what are you saying there, Mike? Saying is right here, I think the ACC is another ship sinking along with the sunken ship from the Pac-12. Well, I don't think they're there yet. I think they could be. What I got to do is I got to call up Jeff Culhane, who used to be on the network here for West Virginia. He's now the voice for Florida State, and I used to work with him on the network here at WVU. And we'll see what he has to say, see if he's got any. He probably won't tell me anything because he's always tight-lipped, except for when he's talking about himself. But Cully was great. You remember him, Jeff Culhane, went up to North Dakota State a couple of years ago. He's down there now at Florida State, so we'll have to check in with him. I checked in with my guy, Pat Biano from Oregon. He's staying mum. He's staying pat, not giving me any information about what's going on in Oregon. The only thing I got out of Oregon State is a couple days ago is we had Connor came on there from Oregon State, and he gave me a lot of information. So I'll tell you what, I will say that he brought more for Oregon State. From West Virginia, I don't see a whole great thing of Oregon State, except I do agree that the baseball team is special. The football team was in double digits last year. So they have been up in their game. I didn't know they put in $150 million or something like that to the renovations. So that makes their facilities excellent. So again, is maybe I'm not so sure about Oregon State. I am sure about Oregon. I'm sure that they would be a great fit to come into the Big 12 if they wanted to. Arizona, I think let's go with right now is, join the conversation, Mountaineer Nation. Is there anybody that wants to go ahead and come in? I tell you, this has been good. And how to talk about Darryl Talley. I mean, if you don't think that Darryl Talley belongs in the Hall of Fame, I think you're wrong. And I say that with respect, but at the same time, I say it also as like, listen, this guy's the all-time leading tackler of the Buffalo Bills. Never missed a game in 12 years. 4 Super Bowls in a row. And Bruce Smith is the greatest defensive pass rusher in the NFL. Most sacks ever. So if you want to go by the numbers, most sacks ever. I think he hit the 200 mark, 203 or something like that. And Darryl Talley is a big part of it. And I'll tell you wouldn't want to meet him in an alleyway. Anybody that wants to jump on, now is your chance to go ahead and jump on. Let me see what I got here for the rest. We're going to do some breakdown. We're going to do some League Kpogba. But, there's one thing I wanted to show you here about this Big 12 travel for this year. And I think that's kind of neat. So let's take a look at this. And let me get it up here. This is, I screwed that up. Let's do it again. We're going to go right over here. Get it up here. Then we pop it open. There you go. Look at this baby right here. So if you're looking at the Big 12 team travel this season, you're going to see UCF, almost 15,000 miles of traveling. 15,000 miles. I'm pretty sure this is just for football. Okay, this is college football. This is not basketball. This is a little bit crazy. But BYU, 13,000 just about. West Virginia's third. This is pretty up there for, it's not so bad. But it's not UCF and it's not BYU. Oklahoma State drops down dramatically by 3,000 almost. Then Texas Tech is down there 74.03. Iowa State 72. Cincy 71. That's interesting. Cincy 71. That's a big drop from, say, West Virginia for being 6 hours away driving time. And Kansas is down to 59. Baylor. And you look at Kansas State. What is Kansas State and TCU? All they do is they play up those Texas games at TCU. And Baylor used to do that. But Kansas State, 32-40 compared to 15,000 for UCF. Something's not right there. Maybe it's the home schedule. Maybe it's all that involved in there. Well, not maybe. It is. But, again, you see 15,000 down to 32. 32. That's a big difference, big gap in that. I think you'll especially see that's going to be troublesome for players playing basketball and the other sports that are going to be in this major Big 12. Talk about it. Anybody want to jump on now? Jump on, anybody. Anyone want to jump on and get into this before I get into breaking down the defense for Oklahoma State? We'll do about 3 series there. Get done, but again, this is your opportunity. Jump on. Mike Rollins, what you got to say there, Mike? Said, I believe that either Florida State or Miami will be in the Big Ten. The Big Ten would love to have a school out of Florida. I actually think that the Big Ten would probably take a Florida school over any Pac-12 school. The Big Ten has been wanting to get this in or something with what you just said, or wanting the state of Florida for a while now. Don't be shocked if the Big Ten takes Florida State and Clemson. Well, I'll tell you what. There's no doubt about it. I would be shocked, too, if I saw that Florida State was not in there and they took Miami over Florida State. I'd be shocked about that. So regardless, I think it's important. It's important to acknowledge that I think Florida State and Clemson are the 2 big picks. I don't think Miami is. Why would the Big Ten want Miami? The fan base is not great. Miami hasn't been what Miami has been. I don't believe in it. Florida State, they just put in like $200 million into their facilities. They went to the Cowboys. Florida State, they went to the Cowboys, to Jerry Jones, and said, this is how we want to see all the facilities there with the Cowboys. This is how we want it at Florida State. Woo! Are you kidding me? And some people are predicting Florida State, which is already top 10 preseason, to be in the college football playoffs. Again, West Virginia, stability-wise, I don't like talking about ACC. I don't really, the ACC jumping. Don't jump. Go stability right now. Stay stable. Stay stable. Just like Colorado jumped. Just like Nebraska. Is Oklahoma going to become Nebraska? I think there's a real chance. Nebraska is the outlier, and we had a conversation with the group, the panel, I think yesterday or the day before, and we talked about it. And they're saying, no, Oklahoma's going to be fine, a lot of them. And I'm saying, I worry. I thought Nebraska was going to be fine. I really did, going to the Big Ten. But then you forgot about all those, those recruiting trails down to Texas, down through Oklahoma, and only three players from Oklahoma out of their 26 players signed. Again, Oklahoma not producing those Division I players like the SEC states are, like down south. Kind of like West Virginia, right? Like Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't produce that many. So Nebraska has to go out and recruit. So again, what's the danger of that? All this going around college football, primetime Dion coming to Colorado, all these good things. Anybody else that wants to get in there, and I see that I believe that Miami and Louisville will be in the Big 12. Okay, well, great, Miami. Well, we've had some good games with them. I know that there's been some times. That 93 was the best game ever at Mountaineer Field. There's no doubt about it. 1993, very good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to work this down here. I'm going to get over here to what I see in the game, and I'm going to open this up right there. And so let's go ahead and get after it. Nobody else, I'm giving you a shot to come on and join the conversation. Nobody's willing to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get this a breakdown before the end of the day. And we're going to rock and roll right here. This in. There you go. Boy, I tell you, I'm getting better at this, aren't I? Okay, let's go. Defense here in West Virginia, I see a cover 4 starting out. It's quarters. You're looking here at 11 personnel. You have a tight end off the left hip of the tackle. It's 1 by 1. You got the running back to the field, to the strength, with the tight end, the run strength, anyways, I'd call it. And you're seeing here again, quarters. Look over here. You see the defenders. It's quarters, adjusting here. You have 4 defensive linemen with the bandit standing up. You got Lee Kpogba. Well, I want to talk about some here. But here's what happened. Oklahoma State came out passing the ball. Now, Ollie Gordon, their running back, ran for over 100-plus yards. He didn't have quite as good a day as Jalen Anderson did, but he had a good day, Ollie Gordon, when he best of his career here against West Virginia. And I'm looking at the defense played tough. And, again, I think this is a game where I'm not sure that Neil Brown would have been released or not released. That's not what I'm getting at. But this game showed that the guys are still playing for Neil Brown. And you got to appreciate that. You got to tell the truth. And it's the WolfMan's call, or the call is always, the truth is always part of the call. And, you have to make sure that you're calling it the right way so everybody understands exactly what's going on. Because it can get real tricky because people talk out here, they talk out the left side of their mouth, and they talk out the right side of their mouth. We don't do that here. So we're going to call it as we see it. I'm calling it as I see it. And what I'm saying is that this team played as can. It was cold. It was rainy. There's probably half the crowd there at Oklahoma State. They didn't care. Spencer Sanders was out. He had a shoulder injury. He was already gone to South Carolina, all right? Or South Carolina, down Ole Miss. Already gone. So, again, let's take a look here and watch first play. Right off the bat, it's just a handoff right here to the running back. And look, there's J.J. Jordan Jefferson. He's doing that for LSU, but I like this. If you look at the defensive front and you see Lee Kpogba, okay, again, Lee Kpogba, I like his enthusiasm. I really do. I like how tough he is. I think he's a good athlete. I think he's good in the box. I even think he's good east to west. The only thing I worry about Lee Kpogba, and I hope that he improves this year, is his sudden change, going one direction to the next. The only concern that I would say that I think he has to get a little better at, he's a very good football player. He can make sacks. He can make tackles. He's double-digit the last 2 games against Oklahoma State. Okay, again, if you have to look for some criticism and how do you improve your game, Lee, this is one area that I would suggest for him. as well. And I'm sure they know this. But look at the defensive line here. I like this. There's no push by the offensive line. I see, if anything, I see more of a push here. You see, then when you see Sean Martin down there, boy, I can't wait to break him down in the upcoming days this season. But there comes Lee. You got the whole crew right there. It's a good play. That is a good play. Starting off the game, and then you see, or not the game, that's the new series because we did 2 series yesterday. And you see Lee again coming in. Look at him crashing in, man. Guy likes to hit. He got there second because of a great play by the defensive lineman, but he's downhill now. I love him filling the gaps. If you got a gap for Lee Kpogba, I think sometimes it's like, listen, get him in a gap and let him blow it up, especially from a 3 to 4 yard run, because I think the dude's a dude. Okay, so again, now it's 2nd and 9. You can see here we are cover 4 once again, the secondary. And I want you to see, now there's only 5 in the box here, 2nd and 9. Now, this is a little peculiar to me because if you look, you can see that there's one guy, Lee Kpogba's in the box. Everyone else they're doing what? They're straddling the box. Are they in the box or are they out the box, right? That's what you have to determine. And if I'm the quarterback here, I'll be honest, he's 2nd and 9. I'm running the ball. I'm handing the ball off and I'm running on this, and we'll see what he does. He takes the ball. It's a pass, I can tell, because they're dropping back, as anybody can tell. And he's going up top. Okay, so this right here, I'm looking, and he runs right out by him. All right, there you go. Look at that right there, 7-yard distance. I don't like the 7 yards. And when he gets to him, this is what I talked about, young guys. Okay, young guys. And we're talking about from training yesterday, we're talking about, I said from here on up, your physical body is going to get taken care of. You're a Division I athlete. Your physical body is going to get taken care of by Mike Joseph at WVU. We need this. The coach has got to be right here for your head, training from your head, from your neck on up. And that is when you see this speed, you have to really become adjusted to it. It's tough. It's Big 12 speed. Receivers are fast. And that's why sometimes you got to get up and redirect them. Like Aaron Beasley always said about how he'd run a 4.58, almost 4.6, but he'd run with the fastest because he would be redirecting these receivers. So they just get him off route and they couldn't just burn him with his speed. Because if he didn't do that, he would never beat him with his speed. He would never keep up with him with his speed. And Beasley's an amazing Hall of Famer, right? College Hall of Fame. But he couldn't do it. He admits it himself, and he sits there and he says, get on top of him. Well, if you're going to give him 7 yards, and then you're going to watch him run on by, that's the problem because you get mesmerized by the speed, and that's with these young pups. That's what happens. It's not their athletic ability, and it's not what they will be in 6 months from now. It's what they are at the time, and it's like, whoa, man, it's like this dude's coming, and it just freezes you. It's so fast because you haven't seen that before. And when you get these guys coming in from other divisions, G5, you don't see that every day. And you don't see it in FCS schools where these Power 5 dudes are fast, Xavier Worthy type dudes that I'm talking about. Right here, the speed. Okay, and again, I'm not trying to go up. I'm trying to say this was the problems that we had because they're young. They don't see the speed every day, all the time. And you need a lot of practice with it. So you can see it. He's kind of like just reaching his hands out. And he was beat. Okay, I'm not going to keep going over it and saying it, but he's not running well. He's already given him 7 yards. There's not much more. You can do it. You can see it. All right. Well, there you go. Get there, young buck. Get there. Okay, how many times? This is 3rd and 9. Oh, golly. 3rd and 9, and this is good, okay? Now, this is what a pass rush does for you. How do you help your young buck defensive secondary? Or if they're not as fast, how do you go ahead and help? I forgot to mention that turned into man-on-man. That was quarters. That was cover 4 that they had because that receiver went outside. That turned into man coverage for that corner. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. And when I'm looking here, it's 3rd and 9, and you're going to see the sack. This is how you do it. You don't give a quarterback time to pick you apart. You don't give receivers time to run away from your defenders after picking on the youngins. After picking on that, right? You have to get pressure. I hate three-man pressure with young defensive backs. Okay? Let me say that again. I hate three-man defensive pressure when you have a young backfield. What the heck? You're not helping them out. You're not helping them. You're just making it longer and harder for them to go ahead and help the team. You need to put pressure on the quarterback, and this is what happens here. You got Lee Colbert, the middle linebacker, coming in, and they rush 4. This is good. If you can get to the quarterback at 4, that's the great defenses. That's what you want to do. Sometimes it takes 5. Sometimes it takes 6. And when you want to bring the heat, like Tony Gibson would do, he unleashed, and he beat Baylor this way. Baylor at home that year that they were undefeated, and he beat them. And it was just because he brought 7, baby. He brought the house, and he gambled. Gibby the Gambler. That's what I called him. I think, I don't know if he gambles as much now, but he'll never lose having that gambling part in him as a college football coach. But again, watch the sack, right? Look at this. Okay, look at the twist here. Now, this is cool, right? You got, look at Sean Martin coming in. We call this right here when you got the inside going outside, right? You got the tackle end. Okay, tackle end, TE twist, right? Tackles first, ends coming around, or then you got the tackle end with Sean Martin, and then you got Dante up top and nose guard. So you got it the opposite around. So again, I like the twist, getting there, putting pressure with those 1, with those 2, with those. Oh, you gotta get the ball off at 1,003. I'm telling you, when you hesitate there and you go to 1,004, there's trouble. Unless, of course, it's a 3-man rush from the defense. Okay, because usually you got till 1,005 to find somebody or to start moving around. But you see this here. Great job on the pressure. Jordan Jefferson coming around. And let's take a look. We'll see here in the end zone shot. You're going to see it, Rangill, the quarterback, his right. Again, this is a freshman quarterback. Freshman, you want to put the heat on him. You don't want to rush 3 defensive linemen. Hate it. You know what a rushing 3 defensive linemen is like? It's like going shotgun on 4th and an inch. 4th and 1 inch, right? 2 inches, 3 inches. All right? Let's go shotgun. Well, that's what I think about rushing 3 defensive linemen. Okay? Not putting the pressure on there. And especially when you have a freshman quarterback who should be putting pressure because he's not used to making quick decisions. And when I talked about the speed of a receiver past the DB, well, there's a speed of a defensive line coming at the quarterback when he's a freshman. See, everything's relative when it comes to football. There's speed here, speed there, speed. You got to know the differences in who you're playing. Spencer Sanders would have been a different case. Okay, you may have wanted to corral him with just a spy and have a spy there and not put all the pressure to drive him out of the pocket. Okay, because he's a running quarterback. But this Rangill dude is a freshman. Now, bring the heat, man. Bring the heat. I love it. They did, and they did a good job. And I love it. And Lee Kpogba right there. Now watch Lee. See, look at my man. Look at him. He's all fired up. This team is 3-6, I think. Or were they 2-6 at the time? 2-6. They were 4-7 at the time. And here he is. It's cold. It's rainy. There's only half the people, maybe even 40% of Oklahoma State. But Lee Kpogba doesn't care because he's a competitor. He's a player, and he's infectious. And that's why I'm saying that this defense played hard. Now, they got lucky too, but they played hard. As long as you're playing hard, it's all you can ask. All you can ask. Go ahead. What's the next series here? Let's keep it rolling because I'm fired. If you can't tell, I'm fired up, man. I'm not even going to drink a water in there. We got 1st and 10. What do we got here? I'm looking here. You have right back there. It looks like to me like it's kind of a man-free coverage. Possibly. Is it man-free? Let's see what happens. Nope. He's not going right there. Nope. They're going zone. And it looks to me, it's cover 4 is what I'm seeing right here. And they're going to go throw the swing pass out. What happens on the swing pass? Well, you got Bishop down there at the bottom. And what was that? Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he came on strong at the end of the season there from North Dakota State. I hope he does well in his future as he pursues on. But I did enjoy watching him the second half of the season because he started to really get it. And again, look at this. You got, what do you have here? You have 10 personnel. You have empty. You got empty set personnel. And you have another receiver up top. He goes in motion. It's the orbit motion. Just do a swing pass. Great job. This is how you tackle. You rep. You got to rep, right? And then there's got to be a second dude coming in. Excuse me. Got to be a second guy coming in to make the tackle. You got to rally the troops, man. How do you rally the troops? Well, you play with enthusiasm. You play like Lee Kpogba was just showing you. Woo, right? Getting all fired up, getting jacked up, getting that sack. And then there you go. Again, 4-7. What are they doing? They don't look like they're 4-7 here. I don't see 4-7 here. I see guys playing hard, running to the ball. So you got 2nd and 11 right now. And we're looking here at the defense. It looks like quarters again. Let's see what we got. Now, again, it's 2nd and 11. Look at this. They got 10 personnel. It's double. Okay, right here, I would think I'd want to run the ball. Why not run the ball? This is what Oklahoma State screwed up at. There's 5 in the box. 5 in the box, and he's going to go ahead and pass. Now, look at here. This is nice. They're double bracketing the inside receivers. Double bracketing right here. You can see it, or got another replay. But again, the quarterback is off, but watch. You got number 2 up top. Okay, he's on the hash. And then you have, I think that's X-ray right down there covering right here, the inside guy. Good job. That's a nice defense. Not a great throw, but I like that defense. That's not bad. But why the heck did Oklahoma State, 2nd and 11, why not run the ball? There's 5 defenders. Hey, West Virginia is saying, who cares, right? We don't want to run the ball. I'm just saying, I'm breaking this down football for you so you can understand what I'm talking about, because when you have 5 in the box and you have a quarterback and a running back. Well, quarterback, this guy can't run, so that's not really an added number, but you got 6 against 5, including the running back. You got 6 against 5. I like those odds, especially when all the players are out there playing the receivers. Why throw the ball? You just saw it right there. They're double bracketing, right? A guy over top, guy underneath. That's it. That's why throw into that. Well, you know what? That's a freshman. That's what freshmen do to you and make decisions. Here we go. 3rd and 11. Again, look at this. You're seeing it right there. Oh, yeah. I like this. Okay, here we go. Pass. And what are they going to do with this pass right here? Wow. This is what I don't like. It's 3rd and 11. And the inside receiver has nobody around him. Nobody around him. And they're all going deep. It's all right. You gotta stop them from the first down. And they do here by this hair of their chinny chin. And you can see that. Nice step, nice tackle. You got him out a half yard short or a yard short. But let me just say this. Again, is when you leave this, look up top, you're seeing 3-on-2. Look at the bottom, you have 3-on-2. But the way they're staggered 3-on-2 is there's not a big difference in that they're giving up the room there. You're not giving up the first down. Look down here as you look at X-ray. He's not barely even on the box. He's straddling the box. He's doing that half and half. Are you inside the box or are you outside the box? Well, look at here, the safety playing off 11 yards. Giving him all this room. You're driving the corner vertical with the receiver at the bottom. So it makes it easy to go ahead. This is close, man. All this is a 5-yard out. It's a 5-yard out turned into a 9 yards. And they were short for 2 yards because it was 3rd and 11. But I don't like it, okay? I think you can get up there. You don't want to give them this kind of room. And you'll see here in the future what I'm talking about. Again, but you got off the field, okay? Look at, there's nobody there. Nobody there. Look up top. Right now, he's the inside receiver, number 2. He's cornered in there. Now, they're going here. They're going into man cover, so he's going to go out after the running back there. But you can see that they're tight. Coverage is tight, except for where? Right here, where he throws the ball. That's a freebie. That's a give me. That's not good coverage. I don't like it. And they could be a lot better. They can be a lot better. That's why I don't like it, because they can do better. They just did better. You just saw them on the 2nd and 11. They did nice coverage. They did a good job. That was playing ball. This right here, there's got to be some type of MA, maybe X-ray or something. I don't know. Again, is they could do better and they can be better. And it's about details. It's about discipline and going to where you're supposed to go. It's just little. The game is inches, right? Always said about the game being inches. All right, so that was third down. They got off the field. Good job. Don't listen to me and my critics. Good job. You got off the field, all right? And so you're starting out 1st and 10 again. What do you got here? All right, so they got 2 tights there. So they're 12 personnel. They're in the pistol look with the running back behind the quarterback. That's the pistol, not the gun. 2 receivers up top to the field. I bet you they go in a little bit of motion here. Up there you go. You got to shift. Not motion, they got to shift it. So you got 2 tight ends, it's 12 personnel again. And what are they going to do? Because they're heavy down here at the bottom. You have 3 defenders to the 2 tight ends. And you're going to do it. Oh, play action pass. You're going to throw the ball. And what happens? Your Regals lights it up. And it's a catch over Aubrey Burks. Now, when I told you when I was breaking down the film with Garrett Green last week and Nico Marchio, I love the fact the quarterbacks that could leave it out in front. This should have been a touchdown, but Rangel left it up there. Now, this is 50-50 here. Aubrey was not bad. He was beat originally, but because the throw was so much air underneath of it, he had an opportunity. Again, Aubrey Burks, probably, 5 out of 5 or 5 out of 10 times he's knocking that ball away. But this time he did not. But again, it's about the throw. If you can get a quarterback that can catch a wide receiver in stride. Remember the Will Greer days? Man, it was awesome. Will Greer days were awesome. And right there, this is 50-50 now. Excuse me, got that dry throat going on. There you go. Nice here. Again, what I want right here is to see a quarterback that can put him in stride. Not Aubrey Burks. Listen, he's on top of him. You can't fault him too much for that, except for maybe running a little bit quicker with him. But again, I have a lot of respect for this young player here. I think he's going to have a great season in 2023. All right. Heading there. All right, end zone. You can see again, just misses it. Quarterback, air that ball out. That's why it's so important to have a quarterback that could gun it. It's so important to make those throws downfield because that's 6 points and hopefully 7 with a kick instead of right there at the 11-yard line. That's what you're hoping for. But it is 1st and 10 for Oklahoma State. And right now you see this, they're going. And it's 1st and 10. It scores 7-0. It's WVU up because Garrett Green just ran for that 35-yard quarterback touchdown. And here comes Oklahoma State. Right there. He hands the ball off. Okay, not bad right here. Oh, that's Lee Kpogba. And this is where Lee started to get into the game now, right? Because before they're doing all this throwing. Why are you throwing the ball down the field? They got 5 in the box. Why are you doing or Gundy? What are you doing, man? You know this. I played against you in the Sun Bowl in 1987. You were a quarterback then, but you were a lot smarter than what this game plan was. I guarantee you that. Look at right here. So this is 3 defensive linemen, and you're going to see right here, you're going to see the spear coming in, and he's going to put pressure and lets Lee Kpogba up there. And I like this. This is a good job. Lee Kpogba, he is tough as nails. I like him. He wraps up his shoulders down, and then you see Hershey there coming in at safety, who I expect him to be a lot better this year, being the second year in the system. So that's good news as well. Hopefully he has a great camp. And Lee Kpogba right there, I really just like how he plays downhill. He's there. He's tackling. Maybe he ducked his head a little bit too much there. Maybe pull that neck a little bit just for his own safety and for having his eyes on the opponent. But you're not going to – that's a plus. That's a plus play, Lee Kpogba. Right there. 2nd and 9. Now let's take a look here at the defense, see what's happening. Okay, you got doubles up top. You got down here a single receiver down at the bottom. And I'm looking – it looks like it's going to be a pass. All right, so this is just a stop and go to the receiver at the bottom. All that is timing. Remember the Will Greer stuff? Gary Jennings or I'm just drawing a blank. David Sills. Yes, with David Sills. What timing they had. Nobody had that timing. that I've seen the last 3 years at West Virginia for sure. But again, this is just that good coverage here now. Excellent coverage. I like this coverage. Watch how he's playing them here. He squares off. Again, I don't know why you got 10 yards in between there. I don't know why. You have 10 yards there to the first down. Like, you're on the first down marker. You're giving him 10 yards. But this is what I like. He takes away the inside. You see him react. The receiver was acting like he's going to do the post, the skinny post right there, and then he's going to take it out. And this is a great job by the defensive back to ride with them. Not going to happen. Not there. Good job. It's 3rd and 9. Oh, what did I just tell you? So they saw this. He's playing 10 yards off the ball. 10 yards off the ball. Look at, there's only, 14 yards before a touchdown. We'll show it in the next time. He gets a first down. As good as he played it the last time, even though he was too far away. All right? This is terrible. All this is free. This is what Jake used to say. Remember Jake? He used to call this garbage yards because it was just wide open. There's nothing to it. That's pitch and catch. You're inside the 10-yard line, and that's pitch and catch. You got to know where your field position is. You got to understand. It's 3rd and 9 inside the 20. It's 3rd and 9, and you're 10 yards deep off the receiver. So what does he do? He stops at 7, and he goes ahead. I mean, this is just simple stuff. This isn't his athletic ability. It's him playing 10 yards off the ball on a 3rd and 9 inside the 15-yard line. That's not, that's just knowing where you feel, where you're at, what the down and distance situation is. I mean, he didn't get touched. He didn't make a move. He just ran straight and stopped. Makes the catch. What does he do? He gets the first down. 3rd and 9, could have been 3. It's going to turn into 7. Once again, do you see it? Not anywhere near. Why give him that? Why? Why not even, I don't care if you want to get up the top and put your hands on him and jam him. Jam that piss out of him. Jam him. Get him off his route. That's a freebie. That's what I'm talking about. That doesn't make sense. That's what Aaron Beasley's talking about. Doesn't make sense. Am I making sense to you? Or am I just talking to myself? Because here's the touchdown. Last play, and then I'm going to get it going. But here's the touchdown. Right? There's nobody there. There's nobody there. So you go ahead. You had it with 3rd and 9. They just played pitch and catch. Pitch and catch. There's nothing. Our defense didn't challenge him. Defense is playing great up to this point. 3rd and 9. You give him that, and then you get this. You got an MA. Got an MA. There's nobody out there. Well, you got to cover that guy. You're inside the 5. Somebody's got to go man. I mean, if you're not going man there, you got to have 8 deep in zone, which is, zone across the board on goal line. It's either goal line zone or it's got to be some form of man. And I don't see any of it. So those last 2 plays, they've been playing really good up to this point. And we're going to continue with that tomorrow. But again, look what you see here. Look at this. And just, again, you can't have a blown gasket. And Lee Kpogba was coming and blitzing up front. And he's walking in. But it all was because you gave 10 yards on a 3rd and 9. And you get them all that room. You don't have that much room in the end zone left behind you. I mean, you could go 3 more yards back. That's my frustrations, folks. And that's what I saw last year where they could improve so much. They can improve so much, man. And so it's something else. All right. So that's that. And we'll continue tomorrow. And hopefully I'll get a little more. Guys, got a couple of guests we're waiting here. We're going to have a representative from the Big Ten. We're going to have a representative from the Pac-12, if it's still there tomorrow, if you know what I mean. And we'll do that, and we'll see if who's going to roll in. Might have another panel. have to wait to see how the news goes. But a lot of this stuff is going on. I want to thank, of course, Darryl Talley for being Darryl Talley, the king. Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame DT, Chuck Holly. We had Bob Lilly on there, Mr. Cowboy, yesterday. I thought it was appropriate celebrating Chuck this week to bring up that Darryl Talley is kind of in a similar situation as Chuck. And although Darryl Talley never did get the MVP in his Super Bowl, even though the team lost, Chuck Holly did. I will say that. That is something, but I even think DT would laugh about that. So, again, Darryl Talley to the Hall of Fame. He should be there. I believe in it. Connor Johnson, I see you. Go Beavs. All right, man. Hey, Connor, you made me think, brother. You made me think about things. So I appreciate Oregon State a whole lot more than 2 days ago before I talked to you. Okay, anything else? Let's see. Mike Rounds. What do you got there? Frank, I'm not happy about either, but I think it's probably going to happen. I think as soon as Florida State and Clemson bolt from the ACC, you're going to see a lot of schools leave. Frank Fair, always getting in trouble, always getting into the mix of things and telling what he knows. Don't argue with Frank Fair because he knows a lot more than 99.9% of the people. I had to learn my lesson. I don't argue with him anymore. I just say, okay. All right, there we go. Let's get this up here. What are we looking at here? Let's get, oh my goodness, we're back here. To dust, yep, okay. I am getting better at this, just so you know. I know you guys don't believe it, but I am getting better. And I'm getting the network out here. And I love talking about my network here. That I say our network, not my network, our network. Because you can go ahead and go to Archies. I told you, talk to Pitt. He's telling me he's going to go to Archies. So up there, hey, Mike Manning, I got a Pitt guy. You got to transform him into a West Virginia guy up there at Archies on East Carson Street. Great wings. Wing special. Monday through Thursday, they got specials on wings. Great job up there in Pitt. Love it. Brickside Bar and Grill, Rob Davis. Robbie, man, it's so cool, bro. Eat local. Yeah, we support you, man. And love the food there at Brickside Bar and you got 30 on tap. And you got Jimbo's place there. Hey, we got something big, man. And Jimmy Pointer, we have a tap. Buckhannon's is opening Monday next week. Buckhannon, Jimbo's place in Buckhannon, West Virginia is opening. And guess what? The WolfMan's call is going to be there. We're going to come out and we're going to have lots of fun. We're not going to get in your way, Jimmy. We won't be getting in your way, but I know it's going to be crazy. It's always crazy on a grand opening, but we want to be there to support you as well. Kegler Sports Bar and Grill, Jerry the Rents, thanks so much, brother. Love you. You are WVU royalty. And you have Aaron Gizzy, great professional golfer, great friend, and he's up there at Lakeview at Legends Bar and Grille. And let's see here. So we got Mel, Mountaineer Tap House in Morgantown. Melissa, take care of her. They got all those taps. They got all the good IPAs, good stuff right there. And then we got Steve Reese. He's got the place in Fairmont with the Mason Jar Barbecue and more. Unbutton those, I love it. Unbutton those britches because he knows who I am. And the Mason Jar Saloon and Hot Spot right there past the mall, right up past the mall, Morgantown Mall, and great place up there. This is Fairmont Road. Yeah, that's what it is. So the Pallet Bar down there, you got Audrey, you got Haley, you got the rest of the girls there, always working really hard. They love the WolfMan's call. They play it. It's great stuff, and we appreciate them. And then, of course, Cantrell is the latest to join Cantrell's River City and Grill and Pub. River City Grill and Pub, and they're down in Hinton, West Virginia. And, of course, Route 22 Sports Bar. Can't wait to go up there and see all those 12, 50-inch screen TVs put together for one ginormous TV. I love to watch the Bills up there. I love to watch the Steelers. It's going to be Steelers first, right? The Steelers and the Bills and Cardinals, those two. But you can watch it out because there's so many TVs. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to be it for me. We're going to go ahead and we're going to close this out. And I appreciate you all. I hope you had a good day today. Hope you learned a lot. SEC, again, we had Twisted Rooster. We had talk to Pitt. I can't believe I had a Pitt guy on here, but you know what? He's actually very cool. So I didn't mind it, and I'm happy to have him on more because he's actually very knowledgeable and he understands what Pitt is. So he's not out there hyping Pitt. You gotta like that, right? I mean, if he gets it, well, at least he's got some common sense about it. So that's very cool. And let's start it out here. I think it's Keith.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock. How many? The anywhere, anytime chargers. Powering. Okay, hang on. I just got the message. I'm interrupting here. And Drew Fabianich, the director of scouting, general manager for WVU football, just was hired a couple of weeks ago. He is going to be on the show tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Gotta love it, man. WVU, this guy's got 14 years with the Cowboys alone, let alone NFL scout, 37 years of wisdom and knowledge, all coming to the WolfMan's call. You got to know I'm fired up. Anyways, for you ladies there, late teas, not ladies, but late teas there that are hanging on, enjoy the rest. And Paul Benny, man, they recharge. You never buy another AA battery. Telling you, man. I've run 2 shows on Hotspot off of a Pallet deck. Anyways, Drew Fabianich tomorrow, WVU, General Manager, Director of Scouting. God bless. Keep it going. Woo! A connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times. Plus, Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery. As easy to charge as your cell phone. Sustainable energy. Stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paul. Order now at paulmini.com.